Hello guys, welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to look at the topic quadratic equation by factorization or by factoring. How we solve quadratic equation by factoring. I'm going to give you an easy method, an easy step. It's a very simple way in which you can solve quadratic equation by factoring. Alright, now we're going to take an example right away. Maybe given an equation x squared plus 2x minus 3 all into 0. Now what we simply do, we're going to take the first value and the last value. We're going to multiply them together, which is to say this and this. And when we multiply this and this together, we're going to have negative 3x squared. Alright, now having a negative 3x squared, we're going to think of a number that when you multiply the number, it's going to give us negative 3x squared. And when you multiply that number, it's going to give us a negative 3x squared. And when either you add or subtract that number, it's going to give us a middle number, which is 2x. Is any number coming to your mind? Oh yes, there are two numbers in which we can use. And that number is 3x and negative 1x. Now, let's see if we are correct. 3x multiplying negative 1x is going to give us negative 3x squared. 3x squared minus 1x, we're going to have 2x. So we're looking for those two numbers. So now in place of 2x, we're going to put 3x squared and negative x or negative 1x. So that's going to give us x squared plus 3x minus x, negative 3 equal to 0. Alright, now we can factorize easily. So we're going to make use of this 2. What is common between these two? If you look at it very well, x is common. So if x is common, there is one x remaining here because it's having a square. Then when we remove the x from here, we're going to have 3 left. Then in this place, we can say 1 is common. So we say 1 here is common, 2x. Now, if we put a negative sign there, just because there's a negative sign here, our answer is not going to be correct. Why? Because if there's a negative sign here, negative multiplying negative, we're going to have a positive sign, which is not going to give us a positive sign here. So therefore, we're going to put a positive sign. And when we put a positive sign here, plus multiplying minus is going to give us minus. So we're going to put 3 all into 0. Now, if you take a look at this and this, they are the same, so we're just going to pick just one. So we're going to have x minus 1, which is a number outside, and x plus 3, which is going to give us 0. Alright, that's to say x minus 1 is equal to 0 and x plus 3 is equal to 0. So we're going to do this like this way: x minus 1 equal to 0, then x plus 3 is equal to 0. So it's going to be, so let's start solving for this. X is equal to 0. When this crosses, it becomes plus 1. X is equal to 1. Then x here is equal to 0 minus 3. And x here is become negative 3. It's as easy and simple as this. So we're going to take us to an example right away. Alright guys, now given this question, we're asked to factorize. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at this equation very well. Then we think of a number in which, now looking at minus 2, okay, let's take a look at the values. Looking at minus 2 and 6, something is common between these two numbers. If 2 can divide 6, and when 2 divides 6, we're going to have just what? 3. So that's to say there's a common thing between these two numbers, which is what? 2. So if 2 is common between these numbers, now we're going to have just minus 2 all into x. Okay, sorry, we also have x here common between them, so I'm going to adjust minus 2x. Since there's having a square, that is to say there's one x left, plus, now we already said 2 is common out there. That is to say 2 is in 6, and when we divide 2 from 6, what do we have left? Just 3. So here is going to become, 3, right? All equal to 0. Now let's see if we expand this bracket, it's going to give us the same thing. This multiplied is going to give us minus 2x squared. Minus 2x plus 3 is not going to give us a positive 6x. That is to say, because of the sign, this arrangement has made it what? Wrong. Now, correcting ourselves is going to become minus 2x all into x negative 3 equal to 0. So this is the correct form of writing it. Why? Because when we multiply minus 3 multiply minus, we're going to have a positive what? Sign. Alright, so this is say minus 2x is equal to 0 and x minus 3 is equal to 0. So we're going to have minus 2x is equal to 0 here and have x minus 3 is equal to 0. Alright, now here we divide both sides by negative 2. So it's going to cancel out any number 0 dividing any number is going to give us just 0. Why this? We have x minus 3 equal to 0, so we have x is equal to 0 plus 3. Therefore, x is equal to 3. It's as easy as this. It's as simple as this. We're going to get to another example, okay? Alright guys, we're given this question and we're asked to factorize it. Now if you look at this quadratic equation is not equal to 0, so we need to make it equal to 0, and that can only be done if we subtract both sides by 20. So subtracting both sides by 20, we're going to have something like this: x squared plus 5x plus 6. We're subtracting both sides by 20, so therefore we're going to have x squared plus 5x. 6 minus 20, we're going to have negative 14. So 20 minus 20, we're going to have 0. Note that quadratic equation is equal to 0. Alright? Now, it's very easy for us to factorize. So therefore, when we take out the first value and the last value, we're going to have negative 14x squared. Alright, now let's think of a number that when we multiply is going to give us a negative 14x squared, and when we add or when we subtract is going to give us the middle number, which is 5x. Can we think of a number? Okay. Alright, fine. The two numbers that comes to mind is 7x and minus 2x. So we have 7x and negative 2x. Alright, so in place of 5x, we're going to put this number. So we're going to have x squared plus 5x. Sorry. In place of 5x, we're going to put this. So it's going to become 7x minus 2x minus 14 all equal to 0. Alright, so what's common between these two is x, and we have x plus 7 left. What's common between these two? We can say 2 is common because 2 can actually divide 14, and which is going to give us 7. Alright, so we can say 2 is common, so we're going to have negative 2 all into x. Now, there cannot be a negative sign there because, there cannot be a positive. I'm sorry about that. There cannot be a negative sign there because when negative multiplying negative is going to give us positive. And at this point, there is a negative sign. So we're going to make use of the positive sign, all equal to 0. So we're going to just pick one because they're both the same. So we're going to have x minus 2 and x plus 7 all into 0. So this is going to be x minus 2 equal to 0 and x plus 7 equal to 0. So x is equal to 0 plus 2, x is equal to 2, x plus 7 is equal to 0, x is equal to 0 minus 7. So therefore x is equal to negative 7. It's as easy as this, and we're going to take another example right away. Alright guys, now taking a look at this example, we have x squared minus 81 equal to 0. So taking a look at this, we find out that 81 is a perfect square. And if you look for the square root of 81, it's going to give us 9. So, and you know square root, we're going to have plus minus 9. That is to say, when we want to factorize it, one is going to be a positive, another one is going to be negative. So therefore, in this case, we are going to have x minus 9, or we can say x plus 9, x minus 9 all equal to 0. When we expand this, we are still going to have this. Alright, so we have x plus 9 equal to 0, x minus 9 equals to 0. So we have s is equal to 0 minus 9, s is equal to a negative 9, x is equal to 0 plus 9, and x is equal to 9. Alright, it's as easy as this, and this is how you factorize. In just 10 minutes, you're not going to It's not going to get up to 10 minutes. When you understand the process, it's very easy for you to solve quadratic equations by factorization. If this video is really helpful to you, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn post notification to all, so you're going to be notified whenever I post a new video. And I'm going to see you in our next video.